stories of the same thing. Ooh, for how much longer can we take this? Hoping, praying, waiting for the curtain call. Living with this kind of makes no sense at all.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Euros Racing League. We're back today, but this time we are live with the Summer League. Today I'll be commentating over the second tier within the Summer League. Today we are live on Bahrain. If the game wants to show, I think I might have to change a few things. This is a bit rough around the edges. Still setting things up as we go, but here you have it. If I get the possibility to reshape the window correctly. Beautiful. Here we are back on Bahrain. We have 14 drivers on the grid. Our 15th driver coming back soon. It will be Chris Martin, who is joining a tad bit later. We had a few issues here and there setting up all the stuff for the lobbies, but he should be here soon enough. And hopefully we'll have ourselves a great race on our hands as the first race within the Summer League. I might be back tomorrow. If I'm correct, we will have a daily race then. And then on Wednesday, I am personally racing myself, so I won't be able to commentate over it. However, you're always free to join one of our streams, because everybody is forced to record or stream their races so they can look back at it in case there is an incident happening. Here we are. Wait, let me quickly set a few other things up in the background, and we should be back again. Here we go. Don't know why he isn't joining yet. But Komori is on his timed lap starting now. The first timed lap of the second tier within the Summer League here at the Euros Racing League, driven by Komori. Hopefully it will be a valid lap, so we have something to compare against. Right, looking solid so far, not really daring through all the corners. I think he might go for another one. His battery is being used though, so he's definitely going for a hot lap, but I don't think this will be one of the faster laps with how his brakes are locking up too. How is the quality, by the way, for everybody watching the stream? I hope it's okay. I hope, of course, the audio quality is good as well. Looking good so far. Sharp corner coming up. How will he handle it? Will he make it through the last corner? Yes, he does. And our first timed lap of the Summer League is a 129.5 here, driven at Bahrain. Let's see who will be next. Have very many cars on the grid. Let's go on board with Vexy. He is known to have quite some pace in him, but he is prone to make mistakes, which we have seen a lot in the last season. Season 7 of the Euros Racing League. That's looking good. How has everybody been enjoying F125 so far? We have had a few test sessions before the start of the Summer League where a lot of things went wrong, but a lot of things went right as well. But here we have Vexy with a 131.3. And we have Kasaji with a 130. Cap Wes with a 129.6, which was pretty close to Komori. Hasn't been able to snatch it away though. As we have Kiriak coming across the finish line, snatching first place away from Komori with a 128.2 over his second faster. Oh, Vix's lap got disqualified. Here we have the Saros, and he snatched it away. 3/10 faster compared to Kiriak. Impressive, with Froggy joining right behind. We have the entire gang, the entire GFO gang, sharing the front of the pack. As we will have Picnic coming in soon as well, going through the last two corners right here. It's looking good so far. It's looking fast. It might be third place, fourth place, just barely with 2/10 of a difference. Let's see how Panos is doing. He has been participating in a few races before, and he did it pretty alright. He wasn't the fastest, but he was definitely competition when it came to the points. King Bears, let's see how it goes. The legend who has been here almost every stream the moment he wasn't racing, but he has always performed pretty well. He didn't get the best chances at the podium last season, but he is known to drive pretty well. He has aborted his lap as we have Vixer trying another one. Fastest second sector, it's looking good. He also has a lot of battery still left remaining for the last two corners, so he might have been able to squeeze out a little bit more speed through the last lap. However, here we go. It is looking pretty good, and that is P5 for Vixer. Let's see what Panos is doing. He is going through the third last corner, as I will quickly go and see what the stream quality is like, because we want the stream quality to be good, of course. Here we go. Through the last corner he goes, as that is P6 for Panos. Let's see what Zongo's doing. Zongo was a really fast guy for the last season. He has shown himself a serious competition for winning multiple races. Yet, he didn't really win one. However, he got really close. Stream quality is looking good. That's great to hear. That's, well, not here to see, at least. Here we go. Going through the last few corners. Final straight before the finish. It's looking good. 40% battery remaining. Still quite a lot. However, it is draining real quick. Oh, sliding a tiny bit through the last corner. But it is looking okay. Not a time to compete for the win, but still P5 for Zongo. He definitely has some room for improvement, but he knows where to improve. He always does. So let's see if he is able to save some time through upcoming few laps, I guess, since we still have quite some time to go. If the yellow flag, which is broken exactly like F124, disappears, then we could see how long we have left within the quali, because like usual this is a short quali, which means usually we have about 16 minutes for all the drivers to set a time, and then we will go straight into the official race, which of course has the formation lap, and it will be a 50% race, so it will take about an hour and a half total. So grab some popcorn, grab some snacks while you're at it, because we will see some great racing looking at the entire team who is almost at the front of the entire field. Here we have Bart. Making his way through the first sector. Battery usage is looking okay. He still could have used a little bit more. Let's see how he is performing. Aggressive lines from what I can see. Looking good so far. He's driving better than I would on Bahrain right now. I will have to train a lot to get these lines going inside my system. Nice of the McLaren to go out of the way to give space for the bright red Ferrari driven by Bart. We can see the McLaren warming his tires. He is not in his hot lap, while Bart is, and he is gunning it down the straight in Sector 2. Woo, really pushing the boundaries of what is track limits and what isn't there. Same through this corner. It is looking pretty good. Battery usage could be more. People have had lower batteries through this sector and still pushed out all they could with the battery. Here we go. Down to final straight. And that is a 1:29.8 for Bart. Let's see if King Beers has a better time doing it now as he aborted the last one. Battery percentage is 50%. As he is now officially starting, I guess, Sector 2 on his hot lap. Seems like he is taking the safe lines, not really pushing himself all that much. But it's still looking pretty solid as we are on board with King Beers right now. As Vaxi is now all the way at the bottom of the grid. Both Alpines haven't really performed the best so far. King Bear supporting his lap. Faxi with a 1:31.3 all the way at the bottom. But King Bear's here with the fastest second sector. It seems like the Alpines might have a shot at a podium finish. Here we go. Aggressive line through the last corner. It is looking really good for King Beers. It will not be P1. It might be... oh, P12. And indeed, Pano's got to push really to join all his teammates all up ahead, as we have all of them still pushing further with Froggy 2/10 faster than his previous, making him a serious contender for the race win as Kyriak snatches away P1. And Froggy remains in P3, but their times are getting closer and closer together. What is it for Picnic? Also 2/10 faster. As he will soon enough join his teammates with even faster times. Let's see how Komori is doing. He is not doing well. He is 2 seconds slower on his hot lap than previously. And here we have Panos, who is now still pushing it through Sector 2. Half a second faster. That would end him up right behind his teammates. Possibly P5 or even P4. As long as he keeps this going in the bright green kick Sauber, as we will see him fly down the last straight through the last corner, and it is P5 as predicted, barely behind his teammate Picnic, even though they are on different teams and technically they are opponents. You can see with the name that they are all pushing it to the absolute limits, as they are a full team, as we have Alti Boss currently starting his hot lap. Battle of the Greeks, indeed. All the Greeks, GFO, the team. As I have a feeling, if they keep this up through all the other 6 races, if I'm correct, that we have in the Summer League, it will be interesting, because I think we might have an entire team ruling Summer League Tier 2. Good line so far from LT Boss. Oh, sliding a little bit, but still pretty good aggressive lines. Really pushing himself to the absolute limit, as you can see right here. Great exit. Through Sector 2 straight. Ooh, fastest second sector. It's looking fast from LT Boss. LT Boss has proven himself a few times in the last season that he is a contender for podium. I don't know how he performs compared to this entire team of Greeks. As he flies down the last straight, battery is fully drained. He beat his previous time by 2/10, but it only ended him up on P9. Let's see if anyone else is on the time lap. It is Maxi currently starting his time lap as he flew past someone who didn't go for a time lap so far. Gave him all the space that he needed, which is what we love to see here. The 10th fastest so far from Vaxi. He will need to win a lot more to see himself have a shot at finishing at the top. As long as no one else finishes, of course. Or as long as no one else crashes, of course. If someone crashes, the entire game can be flipped around on his head. Here we go down the straight in Sector 2. It's looking okay so far. Not the fastest, but definitely faster than I would drive myself. Half a second faster. That is a good win on time. Might get himself close to King Beers, who was over a second faster compared to Vexy. Let's see how he will improve. Not a lot, I think. No, he won't. But it will still be an improvement on his previous time with almost a second. 7/10 shaved off his previous time. See what Bart is doing right now. LT Boss was able to win some time compared to his previous. Will Bart be able to do the exact same as he is gunning it down the Sector 2 straight? For a 10th improvement so far, it will definitely win him a position, maybe 2 even. Sniping it away from LT Boss. We might see 2 Ferraris in P9 and P10 if things end up like this. I find it really annoying that I cannot see the amount of time that we have left, but it is Bart indeed snatching the 9th place away from LT Boss, shoving LT Boss down to P10. So now we have both Ferraris, P9 and P10, right beside each other. Seems like Zongo isn't really improving his time, but what about Froggy? Froggy is pushing it a little bit. Battery properly saving up. He is really using battery to his absolute potential by being able to save it up. That is one of the tactics that you really have to use when you're pushing for a full lap, is to manage your battery. It is really a key opponent to setting a fast lap. And if you don't really have that under control, which I do, you'll definitely lose a lot of time. But here we have Tassaras, a 10th faster. So far, he is already a 10th behind Kirak. So that could end him up on P1. If he is able to keep it going, is Tassaras able to snatch P1 away from Kiriak? And it will get close, but I do think he has it. He does indeed, as the final times are coming in. Everybody is out on its final moments as we have Kiriak now. If I think I didn't see that correctly, indeed. He is just barely slower than his previous, pushing himself to the limit. You could see how close he was to getting track limits there. However, he still has a shot to snatch back P1. Snatch it back away from Tassaras. Is Kiriak able to keep it going? He is sliding. He is pushing himself to the max. I don't think he is able to. He probably lost a lot of time there. We couldn't see probably as we weren't on board like we are right now. And he's still trying to use the flick strategy that you were seeing a lot in F124. However, it was nerfed quite a bit here in F125. Where we were still able to win some time with it. However, I could see that Panos has given up on the fast lap. But yeah, as it is still possibly able to win some time, it will greatly use up the life of your tires, which is not something you want. There we have Komori going into the pits to make us wait the longest. As we will have to wait for the car to be fully in pit box, so we will load into the official race. Now, I'm going to say for the first time ever, I've said it a lot in Season 7, but never before in the Summer League, as we started just now. But if you want to participate in these races, you can join our socials, which you can join our Discord, which you can find on all of our socials. Join there, apply that you want to race for the league. We should have signups opening soon-ish for Season 8. But we still have a few signups open for the Summer League, I think, where you can sign up as a reserve and compete in these races yourself. We try to offer the best racing experience we can. Well, it's totally free, but here we have our starting grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix, with Tastaras winning the qualifying, starting on pole with Kiriak closely behind, not even a tenth of a difference. Bragi following right behind with Picnic and Panos, all the GFO clan, or gang I should say, all the Greeks, all the way at the top with Songo following right behind. Vixer, Komori, Bart, and LT Boss closing off the top 10 with Cap, Kasaji, King Beers, and Vaxi following right after. Both Alpines at the bottom, you could see that both Ferraris are barely within the top 10. I think we will have ourselves a great battle at the very front, so definitely keep your eye out for that. But here we are loading in. It seems like it will be a dry race for today. But do keep in mind that a lot can go wrong. Everybody is choosing their strategy. Everybody is choosing their car setup. All the tires and such. So a lot depends on the strategy that they are choosing right now. I hope everybody got themselves a drink, got themselves some snacks, as hopefully this will be a great kickoff for the Summer League. Once again, we will have the Summer League on the Mondays and on the Wednesdays, as I will personally be racing on the Wednesday. So sadly, I will not be able to commentate right there, because my co-commentator, Jared, will also be participating on the Wednesday. So I will only be here for the Monday to have some fun commentating. Also, if you would love to commentate for one of these races, you can do the exact same by joining our Discord, which you can find on all of our socials. And you can just apply there that you want to commentate, and I will gladly help you further, as we are always looking for new commentators to share the passion of the sport. There we go. All the cars have lined up on the grid. All the cars have loaded in as we have started on our formation lap. Now, don't be alarmed when some people get disqualified. It will only be for the qualifier. Well, we have Beitskin. Yeah, he wasn't participating. Weird that it happened. But don't be afraid that people could get disqualified here for the formation lap. They will just be spawned at the finish line on the grid to start off the official race. However, they will start off with colder tires. They might get disqualified if they spin out, if they block a certain driver, if they drive too slow, or if there is contact between the cars. Now I hope to see a clean formation lap and a clean first lap. After that, I don't care what happens. Genuinely, I don't care what happens, because chaos is what we love. Chaos is what we come here for. Or you can just watch F2, but that is a different story. Yeah, we do see Chris Martin, who has indeed joined, but he will start all the way at the back because he joined during qualifying and wasn't able to participate in it himself. So we do have our 15th driver, who is just now only getting a feel for the track apparently, and it is not treating him well. So let's wait till Chris Martin has joined the back of the pack, because we don't want to leave the people at the front waiting too long, as Chris Martin has quite a gap to close off. Chris Martin is still in Sector 2 as the first drivers on the grid are already lining up on the grid itself. So Chris Martin will have to get all the heat in the tires as he can, as he is driving on the softs. What I noticed with F125 is that the tire degradation is a lot more than F124. So we might see some pit stops happening real soon. Let's see the tire situation. A lot of people are on the mediums, but we have Vixer, Catwez, and Chris Martin starting on the softs. As I said, don't be alarmed when people are disqualified. They would just be able to race. They just didn't line up properly on the grid, which is actually pretty hard to do, as I got disqualified myself multiple times. But here we go. All the cars have lined up on the grid as the lights are turning on any second now, and the Summer League is on its way. And it's lights out, and away we go, as we see quite a lot of people have a good start, except for both Ferraris. They are losing a lot of position, with Bart going all the way to the very back. He had a horrible start, as we might see a little bit of contact, and that is Vaxi spinning out all the way through the first corner. We can also see Panos, who has made a mistake, going wide, spinning out, sadly, where all his teammates got away unshaved. He is now all the way in the back, as I see Chris Martin also losing a lot of positions, which he just won. Mind you, Chris Martin started all the way in the back, and is currently still on P11 without even finishing one lap. That is still pretty good work for someone starting in the last place, as we have Cap West and Komori both spinning out. Probably contact between the two, slightly outside of the frame, so we couldn't see it. As you can see, Kazaji pushing himself a little bit too much, making some mistakes, going wide, which is common through that corner. That corner right there is really hard to get correctly. As now you can see all the times loading on, and we can see that Panos will have to put on a show, as we do see a show with both Faxi and Chris Martin going wide, spinning out. And Panos wins 2 positions right there. Front of the field is still pretty close together, pretty bunched up, so he will be hard to get away right there, as DRS train will soon follow. Because we have these shorter races, DRS will be enabled faster than normally. As you can see, Panos trying to catch the draft of King Beers right in front of him. Is he able to make it work? He does, around the inside. And you saw King Beers brakes locking up quite a bit. Woo! With Faxi almost slamming into the back of King Beers, and that is Panos working his way through another position, now finding himself back in P10. As we have Faxi chasing his teammate. Faxi is pushing it a bit too hard, as you can see right there, stepping in a bit too early on the throttle, causing himself to get some wheel spin and slide out, losing himself 2 positions. And that is Chris Martin, who only drove 2 entire laps, has officially DNF'd and left the session. Sad to see that someone who was supposed to be there during the qualifying doesn't really find his groove at the very start of the Summer League. Look at how smoothly these lines are of this group. Impressive stuff. Slight mistake from Kyriak. However, he is staying close. So if DRS would be enabled, he is still within attacking distance. Same for Panos, who is slowly working his way forward. Already created a 1.9 second gap between him and King Beers, and getting close to Bart, who is still holding on to that P9 position. And there you have it. Tassaraz being overtaken by Froggy. Bombing it around the inside at the first corner. Woo! Great snap back to traction from Froggy, as we have Cap Wez also DNFing. I don't know where. It seems like he did that on the track, what I can see, which is not allowed within this league. We do have our rules, but that, oh, never mind. He crashed. He spun out at the end of the straight. And that is a safety car within the first 3 laps of the start of the Summer League. So we might already see some early pit stops happening. Even though most of the field are on mediums, we might still see an early pit stop happening. It's funny to see that all the soft tires, except for Vixer, have gone out of the race. While you expect them to have more grip and more pace that they can push out of the tires. Let's see what is going on as we wait. Everybody is slowly catching back up to the rest of the field. As I guess we will have to catch up to the safety car. We're still waiting out in Sector 1 as the rest of the field is slowly working their way through Sector 3. So it will take some time for them to catch up to the safety car, and then they will have to drive a lap behind the safety car. But I think after that we are ready to go, as Vaxi is just slowly trying to catch up. In my opinion... Oh, Komori left the session? Weird to see. I hope that is just a bug. But in my opinion, the delta speed that you need is pretty weird. What is Vaxi doing? Is he staying out? He is staying out! Unlike everybody else. As you will see, Vaxi climb way up. But yeah, the delta speed is pretty weird in my opinion. Where sometimes it allows you to go faster and sometimes you have to slam on the brakes. Which is of course not ideal. Because you'll ruin your tires like that and you could also receive a penalty. Alright, we should see the entire bunch get back together. As you can see now that for the GFO gang, it is just Froggy leading the race. With Panos following in P4 and the rest on P6, 7 and 8. So some people have stayed out for Fixer, Bart and Vaxi. Which you can see right there who are still on the older tires. Same for Froggy who decided to stay out. It is a pretty good choice still in my opinion, as the race had just started. So pitting to new tires is in theory a good option, but not really that much of a need. So as you can see, everybody just decided to swap to mediums, and at the back for the hards they are trying to play the long run for this match, except for Komori who just decided to go for the soft, see if he is able to work his way through all the people on the hard tires. I don't know if the safety car is finishing. It does not seem so. The safety car is staying out. Which should mean we will have to wait behind the safety car once more. Currently entering lap 5 of the race as everybody has already rejoined the pack. Oh no, I finished my drink. Well, I guess I have to raw dog it the entire flight, or the entire match. As we are slowly working our way through the entire lap, which will take ages, as this is a pretty long track. Just wait it out, I guess. It will take some time, but oh well. We still have 24 laps to go. There's still plenty of racing, which we could hopefully see happen soon enough. Woo! Fixer having to dodge out of the way just a little bit. In my opinion, this track is a lot of fun, but it is tricky as some corners just tend to be really slippery in my opinion. Where you just slide out with the slightest tap on the steering wheel, slightest, or like the earliest bit of throttle, you would just slide out, spin out, and it will be hopeless. But here we go, safety car has decided to fly off, and he will soon pit into the pit street, or pit lane. And then we will have the restart of our race here in Bahrain. As all the cars are weaving, and it has officially started. I think it is Froggy with a great exit, already winning some time compared to Victor, but Victor was ready, and he is still within attacking range. He does have a penalty, however. I don't know what caused that penalty. A 3-second penalty, that must be track limits already, so Victor has been seen really pushing himself to the very limits as he tried to place his car besides Froggy. It didn't make it work. GFO also didn't really make it work. He tried to go for the overtake, and Vexy has spun out once again throughout corner 1. So that will be Vexy having to work his way all the way through. Same for LT Boss, who spun out through the first corner as well. However, we are on board with Panos, who spun out at the first lap. However, he has now worked himself up back to P4, and is he able to snatch back that position? We did see that he had to pace before in qualifying, and he is showing that he can close the gap as if it's nothing. So Bart will have to show some great defensive driving, as we can see Panos looking to get by. Doesn't find the speed to do it just yet through this DRS zone, but of course DRS hasn't been enabled yet around the inside. As it seems like Bart didn't really expect him, and that is Panos winning a position. Beautifully done. So I guess we will have Panos looking to get a bit further forward to snatch P2 away from Victor, who has lost the attacking time that he would have had on Froggy, as now it is Tassaraz's turn to get by of Bart. Songo and Kiriak. Great battle down the straight. It seems like Kiriak is able to squeeze back out that little bit more speed out of the car, as we have Tassaraz going around the outside with Bart braking a bit early, just playing it safe. He noticed that they had more speed, didn't want to risk any collision, so just tapped on the brakes a little bit early to give him the space that he needed, as it's now Picnic's turn to get by. These guys at GFO have some serious pace. This is really, really interesting to see. As Panos is already within the second of Victor. Right. See, oh, Tassaraz had a horrible exit there. See how Zongo is performing before he had some pace in F124, making him a serious contender for winning a tier. However, it seems like he is struggling a little bit as Victor falls to the speed of Panos. Panos now 3 seconds behind Froggy, but it seems like he is gaining time pretty quick, so we might see ourselves a battle for first, a battle for the race lead happen between Panos and never mind, there goes Panos as he goes into pits. I did not expect that. However, he did decide to stay out, so there might be a tactical early pit entry as we have Victor tried to go for the inside down the first corner, didn't find the traction that he needed to get or stay ahead of Tassaraz. But here we might see him looking for an opportunity around the outside. Tassaraz is claiming the racing line, which is pretty good, forcing Victor on the way more slippery, I guess, asphalt or tarmac, causing him to lose 2 positions at once through that same corner. All he can do is just get back to the rest of the pack as he is still struggling to find some traction. Bart now having a way better exit, looking around the outside, getting pretty close. Luckily no contact from what I can see as the battle continues. Ooh, you can see how close Bart is getting to the track limits as he has a way better exit. Fixer was slipping, sliding a little bit, causing him to lose another position as all the people on the fresher tires are slowly starting to get by. And there goes Bart, spinning out through the last corner, getting a bit too early on his throttle, causing him to slide out, and that is Bart going from P, I think 4, all the way to P10. As he decides to stay out and not go into the pits just like Fixer did. Let's see, Kiriak is getting by Picnic as if it's nothing. Picnic, though, I wanted to say giving him space, but there was slight contact between the two. Luckily, from what I could see, no damage. Looking like a great battle from all of these. But I will have my eyes set on Fixer, who did just pit on the fresher tires. And it is Komori who disconnected, I think, making him a ghost. Allowing just people to pass straight through him. As if he just lapped traffic. Because if you are being lapped, you will be forced into ghost mode. The people that are racing at the top of... Or at least the people that are racing faster than you are. And that are lapping you can just pass right through you, so it won't be any hinder of people that might block the track or the corners. As you can see, Tassaraz, I think, going, or is Froggy going into the pits? As all the other three are staying out. It was Froggy who stayed out during the safety car, except for all of these other guys. And they are showing like a great battle, great pace between all of them. I think they will continue to drive in the train for quite a bit before we might see some battles. As they are just slowly working some distance between them and Zongo. Because as I said, Zongo isn't like a slow driver. He is really, really fast. And yet Zongo has to fight to win some time, but it seems like he is capable of winning some time. However, he just lost. Never mind. Zongo is showing great driving, trying to keep up with these guys, even though he isn't in the DRS. See some battles going on. It is Vexy who went wide. Losing a position to Bart and sliding out. Didn't find the traction that he needed. And finds himself in the wall, losing 3 positions. Maybe even 4 if it keeps going like this. As we have Panos playing it safe around the outside. Woo! Vexy almost lost it again through that corner. Causing him to almost smash into the side of Panos. Luckily it didn't happen. Both of them got out unscathed as we have Kiraki using the DRS to get by Tassaraz. And that is a pretty clean overtake according to the book. Just at the end of the straight with all the speed needed. Just get by, park himself in front, and then Tassaraz just has to follow. But he will have the opportunity to attack either here or during the straight, I was going to say. Looked like he had a good shot at it, though. Want to know who else has a good shot? Froggy, as he is just flying past Bart. As if it's nothing. Of course, with the use of DRS. But that was a pretty clean overtake. Not much is happening other than the top 3 drivers, together with Zongo, are driving away from the rest of the field. Pretty quick too, as we have Tassara snatching away the race lead again, flying over that bump, getting some airtime, losing traction, both of them getting collision, both crashing into each other, as it seems like Kiriak has found the speed that he needed with the DRS to get by Tassaras again, because Tassaras made that big of a mistake. It is now Picnic's turn. Never mind. Picnic is playing it safe, staying behind. He will find his opportunity to get by. But once again, if you want to participate in one of these races, you can join our Discord, which you can find on almost all our socials, or ersracingleague.com. There you can join the Discord and sign up for the Summer League as a reserve driver. And soon enough, I think we will open our signups for Season 8. Summer League is a smaller racing league in between of the usual ERS Racing League seasons. Just to have the never-ending racing action. And it seems like Tassaras, with the mistakes that he made, has found himself out. He has found himself outside of the second, which he will have to win back to be able to use DRS. Picnic, however, still has the DRS, and he is closing the gap pretty fast. It won't be enough to win a position with. He has to come from way too far. And it was Tassaras who won some time back with Kiriak. So they will all be within the DRS zone. As you can see right here, Picnic almost finding himself outside of the DRS zone. As Zongo has lost a little bit of time, he is struggling to stay within attacking range, as Zongo is dropping down to almost 2 seconds right now. Vixer winning a position from Altiboss, who seemed to go a bit wide. That was clearly track limits for Vixer. But everybody is just pushing themselves to the very limit, even though some of them have a little bit less knowledge, a little bit less skill. Everybody is putting on their best show, as you can see right there, with Vixer drifting through the corner. As Altiboss is now looking to snatch back that P10, he wants those points. As it seems like Altiboss doesn't have the speed to stay close, to stay within that attacking distance. He is winning some time here and there, but in the grand scheme of things, he is losing time compared to Vixer, who had a good shot at podium. Now, just because he pitted a bit early, as we can see right here, the pit stops. You can see that Vixer did pit stop, and Komori pitted twice. However, he is 26 seconds behind, as I think it's still a ghost racing for him. Just Bart staying out. P8 currently 6 seconds behind Froggy, and losing time pretty quick, I think. As we have Froggy overtaking King Bears down the finish straight. Looking pretty good. But yeah, you can see that Bart is driving on 13 lap old mediums. He will have to pit soon enough, and he will find himself at the very back of the field because of that. However, Froggy on 4 lap old hards is able to squeeze out a lot of speed that he needs to get by Kasagi, who is 1.4 seconds ahead currently. With the penalties, we have Kiriak leading the race with a 3-second penalty, Vixer with a 6-second penalty, and Vexy with a 3-second penalty. All dealt out due to the track limits. Froggy getting the fastest first sector, looking good on those fresher, hard tires. So imagine the speed that he's able to push out of those tires if they were soft. And Kazaji is in trouble. Here he comes with a lot more speed, a way better exit, and DRS. And he makes light work of Kazaji, now finding himself in P6 as he goes wide. However, I am noticing that Altiboss is now winning time compared to Vixer. I don't know what Vixer did to lose the time that he needed, because he is within 7/10 of Bart, who is still yet to pit. And LT Boss just finds himself closer and closer, also within attacking range. There goes Bart with to the pit box as Vixer and Bart both, or LT Boss both have DRS. So that came out good for Vixer to have the DRS to be able to stay ahead of LT Boss. Otherwise, he would have clearly overtaken him with how close he was compared to Vixer at the through the last corner. Kiriak is managing to get away a tiny bit. Didn't have the best exit. Tassaras, however, had a great exit. As with the DRS, he is now able to close the gap quite a lot compared to Kiriak, with Picnic still following right behind. Struggling a bit for traction through that corner, however, keeping the smooth lines. I don't know what it is with these guys, but they are extremely smooth with the lines. With Songo now falling back to 3 seconds, where he was within 1.4 seconds now. He has over doubled that. But don't forget, he is showing insane pace. Basically, the top three are just giving each other a tow as we see Tassaras going into the pits. And Zongo finding himself now on P3. We're just over halfway done with the race. And it has proven to be a very interesting race. As we have LT Boss still within attacking range of Vixer. As LT Boss goes very, very wide through the last corner. Losing him time throughout the corner, but he does have more speed at the exit. Also will have the DRS as he was within the second. As you can see, Victor take the offensive defensive move with pre-planting himself on the racing line, forcing LT Boss to slow down or take a different line if he wanted to go for the position. However, LT Boss with another DRS zone was able to get a bit closer, played it safe, braking a bit early and letting his car just roll out. Braking early is a good choice whenever you're racing with other people, because some people might have different braking points. So if you brake a bit early, you can just let the car roll out a bit more to give space for the people braking ahead of you. But still, it won't cost you too much time if you brake a bit early. We go, LT Boss was almost finding himself outside of the second, but yet he is able to fly back. As he is now still within attacking range, now half a second away from Vixer, as we have Picnic half a second away from Kiriak. Alright, it seems like Vixer had a great exit there, causing LT Boss to lose some time. However, LT Boss, once again with DRS, will be able to close the gap bit that he needs to stay close enough. For if Vixer makes a mistake, LT Boss is right there. As you can see that LT Boss went a bit wide, causing himself to have a worse line throughout the second corner. Then now it is Vixer almost outside of the second. LT Boss is holding on with the DRS zone that he unlocked just now. Almost sliding out. LT Boss is pushing himself to the very limits. Now almost outside of the second. And there you have it. Unless he's able to win some time, I think Vixer will be able to get away and find the space that he needs. And it seems like Vixer was able to stay outside of the DRS. Now he will be able to get himself away out of there. Find himself some space. Calm down, as you could see that Kiriak was going into the pits. And Picnic was trying to get most, I guess, drafts that he could out of it. Going almost with him into the pits, but staying out. Brakes locking up. But there you have our new race leader, Picnic. Almost getting track limits there, I think. With Songo following 4.5 seconds behind. Songo might have an opportunity to win some time compared to Picnic, as he showed great pace. However, they were just giving each other a tow at the front, keeping each other in the DRS. making it really hard for Zongo to stay close. As you can see him win some time and lose some time now. And you know what I spy with my little eye? And that is Boss finding himself within the second of Vixer again. It seems like Vixer made some mistakes. You can see him sliding out a few bits here and there. As we have Panos just going off-roading. Bringing a lot of dirt on the track. Causing Vixer to go out of his racing line. Having to brake on a way too awkward of a point. Same for Boss. But here we go, Panos taking the white line. You could see that Vixer was taking a more aggressive line, and Buzz struggling to find traction. Will be out of the picture in this battle, but it will be Vixer sticking around the inside, going aggressive, closing off that racing line for Panos, causing Panos to lose a position, now currently in P9 as he is fighting back. He wants back that position as both Panos and Boss received a 3-second penalty right there. Our current race leader has pitted with Zongo now leading the race. Like Panos looking real aggressive. Whoa! As Vixer lost traction there, steering into the track, causing Panos to have to release. With Boss also going into the pit. But that was a real close one. Great reaction time from Panos to evade the collision that we could have had. As you can see, Kyriak now trying to overtake Picnic, who just got out of the pits on the colder tires. As we have Picnic on the mediums. In theory, he should have more grip, more speed that he is able to push out of those tires. However, they are still a bit cold, but it seems like Kyriak is struggling to find that speed to stick close. As King Beers is slowly trying to work his way forward. Way different lines, as you can see. Komori there, still in ghost form. Just driving through all of the other cars. Let's see if Picnic is able to get by Kasagi. Around the outside, has more speed, doesn't even use DRS, so Kasagi might play tactic. Oh, never mind, Kyriak just flies through. I was thinking Kasagi might play a tactic where he releases a bit so he is able to snatch the DRS on here and get ahead, but I think he lost one more position that he wanted. However, you can see how much he's able to get back to the drivers in front. You could see that Kyriak was already closing the gap way ahead, wanting to have a battle with his teammate, I think. As Panos goes back into the pits, currently in P9. Kyriak really pushing those track limits there throughout that corner. As Kasagi now finds himself outside of the second throughout the first sector already. As Zongo is still pulling away from the other guys way back ahead, 7.3 seconds. However, I do think... Never mind, Froggy is also yet to pit a second time. As Zongo is just slowly climbing further and further away from the rest. As he is driving on 16 lap old hard, now 17 lap old hards. Compared to the 10 lap old hards from Froggy. And Tasserez with 4 lap old hards. Right behind, Froggy going into the pits. Pitting a bit earlier than Zongo, who is, I think, going for a one-stopper. As we have 8 more laps to go. Kyriak now finding himself within attacking range of Picnic once again. As he was struggling to stay close. As you can see that he was messing up a few corners throughout the last lap. Here we go, showing himself in the mirrors. As he takes a way more aggressive line. Picnic playing it safe, taking the smoother line, closing off at least some of the racing line and just managing his tires more, as Kiriak is really playing it aggressive. The longer he stays behind here, the more his tires are heating up, which is worse for the life of those tires. You can hear him sliding, hear his brakes locking up. Once again, way more aggressive line, grabbing the curb throughout the middle of that turn as he has. The DRS is able to close the gap. Will he go for it? No, he will not go for the lunge around the inside, as Picnic is managing to stay ahead pretty well. As, let's see, we have the penalties, and it is Bart with a 10-second penalty. Kiriak with 3, same for King Bears, Panos, and Vaccine Boss, but Vixer with a 9-second penalty, so we will see some position changes happen because of those penalties. Woo! Both Picnic and Kiriak almost losing traction throughout the last corner. However, they both were able to catch back some grip within those tires, catch back some traction, as they are still showing a great battle. Once again, Kiriak showing himself in the mirrors. However, he won't go for the overtake just now, staying within attacking range still, as we have 7 more laps to go. Oh, Kiriak getting close. Once again, pushing track limits. He already has a penalty, so basically the battle that he is going for doesn't really even matter, as he will probably end up behind Picnic anyways, if he overtakes him right now. So all they are doing is just for show, all for the fun of racing, as both of them are showing as great opponents for each other. However, what I am noticing is that Zongo might have made a mistake, or Tassaras is some insane pace. With Zongo, who was in 7 seconds before, now finding himself on 5.2 seconds, and it is lowering quick. We might have ourselves an overtake right here, as you could see. GFO Kiriak getting closer through that last sector, using the DRS. Will he be able to get by, catching all the draft that he can, placing his car right beside? No, he does not. He did show himself in the mirrors once again, looking for that gap, but decided it was not worth it. As he gets closer here, DRS is enabled. Placing car right beside, and he is almost past. Yes, he is. Picnic now following right behind, as it was getting close, almost front bumper touching the back of Kiriak, but it didn't happen, luckily. Whoa, Kiriak's brakes locking up, still managing to stay ahead though. As we might have Panos, who hasn't had his race today, starting with the rest of his friends on P5, now battling for P8, using the DRS. But we see King Bears going for the switchback, making it work beautifully throughout turn 3. As King Bears finds himself back ahead of Panos, who is just, I think, almost given up right now. Still within attacking range though. But this has not been the race for Panos, as he is still sticking really close. We might see ourselves an overtake happen here, taking a bit of a wider line, losing some speed. But with the use of DRS, he is able to climb a bit closer as Zongo goes into the pits. 6 laps to go, as he will probably go for softs and just try and go for the fastest lap. Maybe even get a hat further. I don't think he will be able to find the time that he needs to get by the people where he is losing positions to right now. But yeah, Panos has to work really hard to get back that position. As someone who started on P5, now finding himself in P9, I think that is less than ideal. He showed that he had a pace. He really did show that he had the pace. As we can see, Kasagi slowly working his way towards Bart. As Panos is trying it again, trying to get past King Beers. Is King Beers going for the switchback again? He tried, but he lost attraction. And that is the battle between King Beers and Panos gone. Irek still staying close to Picnic. He lost position again that he won not too long ago. Froggy is outside of the picture for the battle for podium. But these two are. However, Kirek, of course, has the penalty that he has to care that he has. But they don't care. They are still battling it out, all for the good fun of racing. As we go through the first corner, and it is really close between the two. However, Picnic is staying ahead. Kiriak with a more aggressive line. DRS is open. He is already right beside Picnic. And there he goes, right ahead of them. Way more speed, squeezing out of the car. With a pretty clean overtake, if I say so myself. King Beers, from what I'm noticing though, is getting back within the second of Panos. Panos is not having it easy with King Beers. Same for Kasaju, who is getting real close to the back of Bart through the finish straight. As King Beers is now outside of the second again after getting a horrible exit. Same for Picnic. He was overtaken by Kiriak, but he is struggling to stay within second, struggling to get that DRS going. However, that isn't a problem for Kasaju right now, as I think it's Bart still indeed on way older tires, 10-lap old hards compared to the 4-lap old mediums from Kasaju. As Bart's tires or brakes are locking up big time. Same for Kasaji's though. So he will gladly use that DRS to try and get back the speed that he was lacking with the accident that he had through that corner. And it seems to be working. It seems to get him pretty close already. Within attacking range, he won't have DRS throughout the next zone. However, Picnic using the DRS of the finish straight got real close to him again. Doesn't seem like he has the speed to make it work just now though. Looking for it, but doesn't go for it yet. Same for Kazaji. Did use the DRS to get closer again. Never mind. We are now in the DRS zone. I was confusing it with the other side of the track. There we go. Doesn't seem like he has the speed to make it work, though. He is getting really close, showing himself in the mirrors. Well, he might have a good shot at the next DRS zone as long as he takes these two corners smoothly. He didn't have the best exit throughout the first corner. So he will have the DRS to catch him back up with Bart. But we won't see an overtake happening right here as he was sliding out. But luckily was able to catch the car back. As Bart, I don't know what he was doing. Woo! Kazaj is really struggling with finding the grip in those tires. As his brakes just keep on locking up. Still within second though, so still within attacking range, but Panos is almost within attacking range too. We have about to. Any second now? I guess not. We are about to have 2 laps remaining. But yeah, it will be close as Panos has shown that he has the pace needed to work his way forward. However, he just didn't have to race with all those penalties, all the mistakes that he was making, which we do know that he often had when he was racing in the last season of the US Racing League. There we go, Kasaji. We're 6/10 away. It won't probably bring him close enough to attack, as you can see his battery being almost fully drained on his dash. As his brakes are once again locking up. And that is Bart being able to get away quite a bit as Panos now finds himself within the DRS. 2 laps remaining within this race. I think I was confusing Das Res with Kasaji on the minimap. Yeah, 2 laps remaining in this race as Kasaji is getting closer to Bart again. Bart is really pushing himself to the limits, trying to stay ahead of them. As you could see, Zongo looking to overtake Froggy. Did close the gap quite a bit on those really fast and sticky softs, but he wasn't just having the space that he needed to go for the attack, causing him to go wide. So he will have to try again within the next 2 laps. As Kasagi and Panos are both battling it out for P6 if they are lucky. It might all come down to one corner where Panos is able to get by to both of them. But that will be a tricky situation as both of them stick within the 6/10ths of each other. Panos losing a little bit more speed, but you can see that Kasagi doesn't really have the battery, unlike Panos. So here we go, DRS is enabled. Battery is drained for Kasagi. It isn't for Panos, however. You can see that he is winning quite some time. Late braking as well. Smooth through the first corner. And Panos might have himself a position on his hands as if Kasagi doesn't make it through these corners smoothly. It does seem like he is able to. Both cars getting real close to the car ahead as Kasagi is almost sliding out the exact same way that he did before, leaving him under the pressure of Panos right now, who is closer than ever before. And yes, Brom, this is F125. We still have to update our bio. As we are still battling it out, almost within the last lap of the race, as Tasserez got across the finish line. Last lap of the race is ongoing. They have to do it now if they want to make it work. They have one more lap to make it count. No more mistakes. All comes down to this lap. Kasagi almost has basically the free position because of Bart having the penalty. But Panos doesn't afford to lose all this time that he does. As he is getting closer, he is closer to Kasagi than Kasagi is to Bart. However, even with the DRS, even with the battery, he is unable to get closer. Kasagi is, however, bombing it around the inside, as I don't think that Bart was expecting Kasagi to be there. Bart, slight contact between the two. Bart staying ahead of the position, pushing Kasagi off the track, however. Leaving Kasagi now under the pressure of Panos, who is looking around the inside. Takes a more aggressive line. Doesn't really find the speed to do so. Kasagi still managing to stay ahead of Panos. Bart managing to stay ahead of Kasagi just barely, though. As I think we might see ourselves another attack. Whoa! Almost sliding out again. Kasagi is really struggling to find a grip. And I don't think Kasagi will have another shot for the battle with him and Bart. However, he will have to focus on the defensive side of things, as Panos was looking as a real danger to that position, as we have Tasseras, Picnic, and Kirak going across the finish line, with Froggy soon to follow. But I don't think Panos will be able to go for the overtake. Same for Kasagi. Half a second is a lot of time to win through the last 2 corners. They are using up all their battery, all the power that they can muster out of that car and the tires. But it won't be enough. Kasagi will find himself on P6. As we have the entire front of the field, except for Panos, finding himself in P7. With the entire front of the field filled with Greeks. A full Greek podium. As the GFO team, driven by Tasseras, Picnic, Kiriak, and Froggy, proved themselves currently unbeaten in the first race. With great speed from all of the drivers. Also from Zongo, who showed a great battle. Great speed trying to keep up with the entire team. As we have Vexy, who will be the last to come across the finish line. Basically using this as a victory lap, as we are all waiting for him to call an end to the race. Fireworks are going off in the background. As Vexy will come across the finish line, and that calls the end of the first race here in the Summer League. Bahrain is done. here in the second tier of the Summer League. And there you have it, a full Greek podium. Haas winning the race. No music though, which is kind of weird. Normally you have that. Oh, it's really, really soft in the background. But there you have it. The end of the first race. As you can see that the race winner is indeed Tasras. The fastest lap is Zongo. Driver of the day according to the game is Vaxi, which did show a great battle. Then we have Bart receiving the most overtakes award. And then the cleanest driver, Kasaji, who did really, really well. And here are the final standings of the race. Tasras winning the race with Picnic and Kyriak sharing the podium. With Froggy and Zongo closing up the top 5. I don't have the time to go through the rest of the field. But there you have it. Sadly, 2 DNFs. But you can't have it all. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had fun watching the start of the Summer League. Here, what we saw on Bahrain. But, yeah, I'm glad to be back. I will be back commentating on the Monday, if I'm correct. If I'm able to do so, at least. Because I will personally be participating on the Wednesday. So I hope to see you all next week, as this is the end of the stream. I hope to see you all next time. Once again, if you want to participate in these races, you can join our Discord, which you can find on all of our socials, or EuroRacingLeague.com.